They are called the forgotten generation, not because they lacked impact, but because they learned very early that no one was coming to save them. Before we talk about the psychology of Gen X, we need to understand who they really are, not the labels, not the stereotypes, but the environment that shaped their minds. Generation X was born roughly between the mid-1960s and early 1980s. They came after the Baby Boomers and before the Millennials. But unlike both, Gen X grew up in between worlds. They were the last generation raised without the internet, and the first generation forced to adapt to it. They were children when divorce rates exploded, when both parents had to work, when figure it out yourself became the default parenting style. This is the generation of latchkey kids who came home to empty houses, who learned independence not as a choice but as survival. And this is where their psychology begins. Gen X doesn't trust systems easily, because they watched institutions fail in real time. They saw corporations downsize without warning. They watched pensions disappear. They saw loyalty punished instead of rewarded. So they learned one powerful lesson early: rely on yourself, expect nothing, stay prepared. That mindset never left them. Here's something no one talks about. Gen X is emotionally quiet, but not emotionally empty. They don't overshare. They don't dramatize pain. They don't announce struggles online, not because they don't feel deeply, but because they were raised in an era where emotions were private and vulnerability was often met with silence. So Gen X learned to internalize. They carry stress differently. Instead of breaking down, they carry on. Instead of asking for help, they adapt. Instead of talking it out, they think it through alone. This is why many Gen Xers appear calm, even in chaos. Not because they're unbothered, but because chaos feels familiar. Another truth most people miss: Gen X has a complicated relationship with success. They don't chase validation the way younger generations do. They don't trust hype. They don't believe promises easily. Why? Because they were told to work hard and watched hard workers get laid off. They were told to be loyal and saw loyalty mean nothing. They were told to wait your turn and realized the system wasn't fair. So Gen X became realistic to the point of cynicism. But that cynicism is not bitterness. It's wisdom earned the hard way. They value competence over titles, substance over noise, results over attention. This generation doesn't need applause, they need proof. Another psychological trait rarely discussed: Gen X is highly adaptable, but deeply exhausted. They've lived through analog childhoods, digital adulthood, economic crashes, cultural shifts, and constant change, all without asking for sympathy. They had to relearn the world multiple times, and yet no one ever told them, "You're doing great." So many Gen Xers live with a quiet sense of being overlooked. Not angry, not resentful, just unseen. They often feel like the bridge holding everyone else up, supporting aging parents on one side and younger generations on the other. They are the emotional middle child of history. And because of that, Gen X values freedom more than recognition. They want space, autonomy, control over their time. They don't want to be micromanaged. They don't want to be told who to be. They don't want noise. They want peace. That's why Gen X humor is dark, dry and unapologetically honest. It's not cruelty. It's emotional armor. When you grow up learning that life doesn't pause for your feelings, humor becomes a survival tool. Here's another truth that rarely gets said. Gen X loves deeply, but cautiously. They don't rush attachment. They don't trust instantly. They don't fall for illusions. When Gen X commits to people, work, or values, it's serious. Because they've seen what happens when things fall apart. They are loyal, but not blindly. Strong, but not loud. Resilient, but often tired. And yet, they keep going. Quietly. This generation didn't grow up being told they were special. They grew up being told to deal with it. And that shaped a psychology built on realism, resilience, and emotional self-containment. But here's the part no one ever says out loud. Gen X doesn't want to be remembered as forgotten. They want to be respected. They want their experience to matter. Their sacrifices to be understood. Their silence to be recognized as strength, not absence. If you're Gen X and this video feels personal, it's because it is. And if you're not Gen X, understand this. Behind the calm exterior is a generation that carried weight most people never saw. A generation that adapted without applause, survived without sympathy, and kept moving forward without making noise. And maybe that's exactly why they deserve to be heard now. If this video resonated with you or reminded you of someone you know, let it be known. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to feel seen. Because some stories don't ask for attention. They've already earned it.